What's going on, guys? Brennan here. Wanted to pop on and do a video about Giancarlo Stanton today. It's getting worse and worse, the news about him. Just yesterday, we found out he has tennis elbows in both elbows, which doesn't even really make any sense to me. His body is just falling apart. I mean, that's like getting, tearing hamstrings in like both your legs, which I guess he's done also. So, that leaves a really big hole for the Yankees. But, if you look at this lineup right now, the way it is projected to look, assuming there aren't any breakout stars or major injuries in spring training, I know there's been a lot of talk about who's going to lead off. I think you got Jazz first. And the reason you got Jazz first is because he's actually got a relatively good on-base percentage for our lineup. The other option is, to me, the other option is Bellinger, but I would rather have Bellinger behind Judge, and I'll get to that later. And some people have mentioned Dominguez. Now, I have obviously high hopes for Dominguez. I hope he's a great hitter, but I have him batting second. And I think part of that is because he is a rookie and unproven, and he's going to be facing some real pressure. And I think batting second really takes some pressure off of him. Especially as a switch hitter, you'll have Judge behind him because I think Judge will bat third. I think he should bat third because he's by far our best hitter. And he came out today and said that he wants to do that. So I think he'll do that. And I think Dominguez will really get some good opportunities batting second with Judge behind him and getting a chance to, not bat first. There's a lot of attention paid to that position in the lineup. And, he'll get to see some pitches before he goes up there and just takes some pressure off, especially as a switch hitter. And then I think you would have Bellinger after Judge batting fourth. So there you keep the righty-lefty for the most part. And, I think Bellinger is just great protection to Judge. Because as I've thought about and talked about in some other videos, I have concerns about basically the rest of the lineup. I would have Goldschmidt fifth, again, to keep the lefty-righty flipping. But, I have some serious concerns about Goldschmidt. He looked old for most of last year. I know he kind of picked it up towards the end. But once you look old, I think you're old. Yeah, so I think, he may be okay. He may be solid. He may have some good moments, some bad moments, or he could be another, really old player for us. But then I would have Wells sixth. I know Wells bat cleanup last year a lot, but obviously Bellinger's better hitter, more proven, and frankly, Jazz is a better hitter if you look at the numbers for the most part, especially with having a few seasons under his belt already. And so I just think out of experience and out of what they've proven so far, Wells goes to sixth, and I think that's solid. And then I think after him you have Volpe, who bats seventh. I think that's right around where he should be. My opinion of Volpe is this is his last year where we're going to say, oh, he's going to potentially break out, really pick up his hitting, be where we expected him to be. I think that this is his third year, so I think what's going to happen this year is we're going to see what really the player he's going to be is. This is his last year where we can say, oh, he's just improving. He's a young player. I know he'll still be young technically because he came up so early, but this is his third year. So I think he's got to prove that he's not, seventh in the lineup type of player. I think he's proven he's a good enough starter, solid baseball player, belongs in the major leagues, but for the most part, but that's probably because of his defense. That's not really because of his offense. His offense needs to be better, or he's going to be 7th, 8th, 9th in every lineup for his career. And then you get to the complicated part that really gets complicated with Stanton. Now, I know Stanton was never going to play the outfield or the infield. He was going to be DH. But, and I forgot to mention this earlier, I would put Goldschmidt as DH, the first, for the most part, to start. You may switch it around, but mainly I would have Goldschmidt be DH. And then, what would happen, because you don't have any other hitter to really be DH unless you want to put Trent Grisham in and put Judge in the DH role. But yeah, and you can certainly do that on certain days, but definitely for opening day. And I don't think that's long term. I don't think Trent Grisham has proved that he can be a starting, you know, outfielder. You know, he just doesn't hit as well. He just doesn't hit. So you had this situation where we're going to have Peraza, Cabrera, and DJ vie for third base, essentially. You know, I think Cabrera was the favorite in that situation, and I think now he's, unless Peraza really picks it up and DJ shocks everyone and plays incredible, Cabrera is guaranteed, you know, basically a starting position for opening day, because he can play first and third. And so I think you may actually have him start first base unless Ben Rice really, you know, shocks everyone again. But, you know, just going off of right now with no performance seen for spring training, you would say Cabrera is the favorite. And then, or you may have DJ play first base and Cabrera third base. But like I said, I think DJ is washed. I know there were reports that they wanted to cut him last year, but supposedly Judge or whoever, some veteran stepped in. I think DJ is on some real thin ice. I think he could still be designated for assignment, I think. You know, he just looked so washed last year. He batted like 200, and that was an improvement. He was, if you remember, he was barely hitting the ball out the infield, and he was not getting on base. His, you know, his whole situation was just not good. Okay, and then, so after Volpe bats seventh, I think you have whoever fills in the role of the DJ, Peraza, Ben Rice situation batting eighth. I think you're likely to have, I think what's most likely is Ben Rice's eighth, because I think they'll end up having Ben Rice play first and Cabrera third. But if there's some other situation, it doesn't really matter because Cabrera's a switch hitter, so you would have him ninth. And it actually helps, it's shown to actually help teams to have the ninth hitter not actually be the worst hitter, because after the ninth is the top of the order. So it actually could help, not in the first inning, obviously, but in later innings, it could actually help to have someone who's more likely to get on base in the ninth hole than the eighth hole. So you would put the worst hitter eighth behind Volpe. I think that's the best situation. Obviously, this is just opening day. You know, people get hot, people do whatever. You know, Booney's going to switch things around, but I think for opening day, you would have either Ben Rice or likely Peraza. I think, like I said, it's Ben Rice eighth and then Cabrera ninth. And so your total lineup is looking like it's got a lot of question marks. Could be really great, could really struggle. Because, like I said, the only solid ones we really got is Judge. I think Jazz will do well. He'll be Jazz, like he's not going to be like a you know, a major star or anything like that, but I think he'll do a solid season. I think Bellinger has figured his career out. I think he's going to have a Bellinger type year, which is good. Borderline all-star type good. You know, obviously not Soto. But then I think Goldschmidt is a real question mark with his age. Wells, you know, he did well for part of last season, but he didn't end great. And I'm talking about offense. And so he's a question mark with the second year, how he's going to perform. Volpe is a question mark because, as we've seen, he's hot or cold. And then we've got major question marks at third and first base now. Assuming I'm putting Goldschmidt as DH. I know he's going to also play the field some days, but it would just make sense to have him DH and then have less proven young players be in the infield. And then some days you would have Trent Grisham play, I guess. I forgot he was still on the team, but he's apparently still on our team. So that's our lineup. And, you know, like I said before, Stanton is basically just fine china. I don't even think, I know so many people say this or professionals go against this. I know it doesn't make any sense to have someone who makes $25 million a year basically not play in the regular season. But I mean, first of all, as a fan, I don't really care about the money. And second of all, the trade has already been done. There's no point of saying, hey, we traded for this guy, we're paying him $25 million a year, Stanton, and we're going to play him the regular seasons. There's no point in looking at it that way because the trade is already done, and we're not going to trade Stanton or release him, because of injuries. So there's no point of looking at it like that. And I think, we give him his time. First of all, we have to figure out if his body is just going to be able to play baseball, considering that tennis elbows got worse in the off season to the point now where he says he's in a lot of pain and he doesn't think he'll be ready to play for opening day. What was he even doing during the off season? So, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying he wasn't playing baseball. Was he? Maybe he was trying to hit in the cages, I guess. That's possible. But if he was injured, he was I would assume he was trying to treat it. So, assuming he was trying to treat it all off season, and it's gotten worse. I hate to say it, but is like his career over? You have to wonder that. I know that sounds extreme, but is he just such fragile body that he's not going to be able to really play anymore? We just saw someone on the Angels go through that. And you'll say, oh, well, the Yankees need another piece, another infielder, but there's not a lot of options out there. There's no real free agent infielders left that are really worth anything. And you've got a lot of people were speculating about Nolan Arenado, but it doesn't seem like the Yankees can make up a trade for that. The only thing they've got is they seem to want to trade Stroman, and they want to dump his salary. So you're not getting a lot back for Stroman. I hate to say it. It's just a money thing. And if they do end up trading Stroman, they're not getting a Nolan Arenado. They're not getting probably anything. If anything, they're getting some random player that is considered like a low prospect or something like that. Or like just a random bullpen dude, extra arm. They're not getting someone who's better than what we've got, except maybe DJ. And that's not even getting to the bench of this team. We have no idea who the backup catcher is going to be. I know Ben Rice he's basically switched to first base, but he has catcher experience. But is he really able to be a major league catcher? That's a difficult position. And then now if you're going to say Goldschmidt is going to be either in the infield or DH, and then the only real option you got is other than Goldschmidt to DH is Judge, unless you're just giving someone else a half day off. Who is the backups for the infield? God forbid someone else goes down. And this is my problem with the Yankees right now. It's like what they've done in some years past. It's very reliant on people to step up in a way that they haven't done recently. Or relying on Goldschmidt to be kind of, better than he was for most of last year. We're relying on, like I've already mentioned, the infielders that aren't Jazz and Volpe to be better than they've been. We're frankly relying on Volpe to be better than he's been. We're relying on Austin Wells to have a good second season. We're relying on Dominguez to have a good rookie season. It's like so many question marks on the team that you could see it going really well or really poorly. So yeah, guys, so I'm going to keep an eye on the Yankees, keep giving you videos here, working on my product, my content. This is what I love. I love the Yankees, so I'm just going to keep doing these videos. And if you like what you saw, hit subscribe or comment or hit the like button. If you comment, I'll answer. And so, yeah.